presentation today, and I think you've done incredibly well by A, staying on time, and B, not being let down by this stuff here, which I am still very frightened of. And of absolutely no help.
I think we've seen how bad I am.
Working with Ashley this year has been a delight for me on several levels. It has kept me in touch with an author that I enjoy very much, Virginia Woolf, who incidentally I was not able to study as an undergraduate. So many of you in this room are far ahead of me on that. I didn't come to Virginia Woolf until I was in doctoral studies, I believe. But I'm making up for lost time, and thanks to students who are still interested in pursuing this author, I'm able to stay engaged with it. Ashley's project, she'll tell you a little bit about the genesis, where her interest in Virginia Woolf came, and how that interest has taken her to this place, where she's working on Virginia Woolf's The Wave, prefiguring postmodernism in modernist text. I should mention to you that Ashley comes to us from California, and she's this close to graduating. She's one of our seniors that we will be capping down in
2 weeks.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about how I first came to the project. I was introduced to Virginia Woolf when I took the class, the major author Virginia Woolf seminar, a couple semesters ago. And we read 7 of her novels in the class and discussed a lot of her short stories and her writings and a lot of the themes that she covered as her experiments and innovations. One of the texts that we read was The Waves. And I was first very frightened of this book because of the way that it was written, and it was a bit difficult. But I became more interested in it when I was in my introduction to rhetoric class that we have to take as English majors, when I started learning about postmodernism and what postmodern ideas were. And then I started to see some connections between postmodernism and the wave. And so I wrote our research paper. We had to write a research paper for this class, and it was called Virginia Woolf's The Wave, a Postmodern Songist. But this paper was a little bit different from my project. Even though this paper spurred my ideas, my project is almost completely different because I started re-examining it more for my honors project, and then I had to redefine my terms because my paper was a little shallow. Virginia Woolf is a British author, and she was born in 1882. She lived during a time when women were not formally educated, but she was very intellectual. She was a well-to-do person. Her family was very well-to-do. And her brother and his friends formed a group called the Bloomsbury Group, and they all had met at Cambridge, and so she was surrounded by a lot of intellectual content. A lot of literature attempts to make meaning out of life. It deals with themes of alienation in the human condition, but it attempts to make meaning out of it. There's some characteristics of modernism that are found in The Wave. One of those characteristics is the innovative structure, the way that Woolf has introduced episodes, and she doesn't have one single narrative to tie everything together. The themes of alienation and human condition, and she also mixes genres, which modernism does. Woolf uses Shakespeare's idea of staging of life found in his play As You Like It, and that she has all the roles staged and goes on to the western stages of life. She has her own twist on what the stages of life are. Here are some texts that support the modernism in Woolf. And the first one is spoken by Ginny. She's a very energetic and outgoing character that likes men. And this is a little poetic text that I saw. It describes how she attracts a man to her. It goes, I'm rooted but I flow. All gold flowing that way. I say to this one, come. This one black. I say to that one, no. And I just noticed like the rhythm of that text and the way that it rhymes and the way that it just is very beautiful images. And so that's poetry to me. The next one is a modernist attempt to make meaning. Bernard, who is a writer, is he has the most soliloquy in the book. He speaks the most, and he seems to be the voice that Woolf favors with his text. And at the end of the book, he is summing up his life, and so he says, and he's trying to make meaning, and I saw this as a very modernist thing to do. And he says, now to sum up, said Bernard, now to explain to you the meaning of my life. Since we do not know each other, we can talk freely. The illusion is upon me that something adheres for a moment, has roundness, weight, depth, is completed. And completion, he's finding completion in his life and making meaning out of it. The next one comes from Bernard also, and it's a few pages later in the last episode of the book. And it's basically his confrontation with death, and he's going to triumph over death, but it's also something, as I saw, as a very modernist thing. And in me too, the wave rises, it swells, it arches its back. I am aware once more of the new desire, something rising beneath me like the proud horse whose rider first spurs and pulls him back. What enemy do you now perceive advancing against us? It is death. Death is the enemy. It is death against whom I ride with my spear couched and my hair flying back like a young man. Against whom will I fling myself unvanquished and unyielding, O death. And basically that's just, even though death is coming upon him, he's going to conquer it. He's not going to let himself be, defeated by this death.